Learning about XML schema. We'll actually spend this week and next week on learning the fundamentals of the XML schema standard. XML schema has been around since 2001, so it's not that recent, but it's still, I guess, in the grand scheme of things, relatively recent. It offers a lot more functionality than document type definitions. Document type definitions, while they're in still relatively wide use, they lack a lot of functionality, and the standard is becoming old and has a lot of problems. I've called them end-of-life problems, but they're still in use, so that's why we learned about them. But if you were to develop a new schema right now today, you would not use document type definitions. You would use XML schema most likely. Part of the problem with document type definitions was that they were not XML. So we already learned that last week, but document type definitions are not XML. They're, as we've said, some kind of sort of proto markup technology, but they predate the XML standard, so they were in a way kind of bridge the world between the old SGML, standard generalized markup language, and today's XML language. So document type definitions are still with us, but we need to move on and talk about XML schema. So XML schema is XML, and by virtue of being XML, it opens up almost unlimited amount of potential and functionality that we can build into our applications. Schema gives more control over your XML documents, so you can really tighten them down, if you will, restrain them, add constraints, facets. You can type your data. You can do all sorts of things that will make your XML documents much more restrictive, as you would say a database. So XML, just restate, schema, XML schema will replace document type definitions. When, I don't know. You would have thought they've gone away by now, but it will happen eventually. There are many communities that still rely on document type definitions. For example, the archives community that I'm a part of, we have a markup standard called Encoded Archival Description. And this markup standard was created in document type definition because, as I mentioned, the standard came about before XML came about. So document type definitions, again, use the old SGML standard, and it was sort of a bridge. But now in 2001, pretty much right when the XML schema standard came out, basically the next year, the archival community developed an XML schema standard to use with encoded archival description. This week we're going to cover most of chapters 9 and 10, and we'll learn just enough of chapter 11 so you can get started on your exercise.